My name is Rob and welcome to Metal Monthly. This is a video series where we talk about everything that happened in metal music over the past month. What a shock. In this episode we're going to talk about thrash, metalcore, Rage Against the Machine and flags. It's going to be fun. Let's get into it. First up, as always, is albums. What albums were released in June? First off, Bleed From Within with Shrine. Now this may get me some angry comments, but this sounded to me like Slipknot but heavier, and I mean that in a good way. Okay, so it's metalcore with some heavy breakdowns and some rough vocals, but it also has some melody and some really catchy songs. So the music is good metalcore, but it isn't exactly groundbreaking. I found a review from Kerrang that I think sums up the album very well. Bleed From Within have never boldly stood apart from the pack, but there's no denying that what they do very well. Next up, Kreator with Hate Über Alles. This is some wonderful thrash music. It's fast, it's headbanging, it's got some slightly rough vocals and some oddly singable songs. Killer! Killer of Jesus! What? It's a good song. Next up, Spiritbox with Rotoscope, which is an EP, and I don't usually cover EPs, but Spiritbox has got a lot of attention right now. At Download Festival, they seem to be the band to watch, so I figured I'd give it a listen. So this is post-metal, alt-metal. It's very heavy, but it's got some really nice singing. Not exactly melodic or operatic, but enjoyable. So it's generally slower music, it's got some interesting warped guitar sounds and some simple drum beats. It's enjoyable, although I wouldn't want to listen to a lot of it all at once, although that being said, I would be very interested in listening to an album of theirs. And finally we have Motionless in White with Scoring the End of the World. This album title confused me for ages, because I was like, scoring? Like in sports? Like scoring the end of the world? And then I was like, well maybe they mean like when you run a knife down a bit of paper but you don't cut all the way through so you can fold it. And then I realised that scoring is also a word for like applying music to a scene, and that's when I realised that I'm an idiot. Anyway, so this is heavy metal with some cool keyboard sounds. They kind of reminded me of The Defiled with the angry, screechy keyboard element. The vocals are your standard clean and rough, and the songs are up and down in terms of both quality and heaviness? Is that a word? Considering how heavy most of the album is, this album does have some very light songs, like Werewolf, for example. Overall, I would say it's a pretty good album, and I do recommend you check it out. So next up is musician deaths. This is where we remember and honour the metal musicians who have passed away over the last month. At the time of recording, 2 metal musicians have passed away. On June the 5th, Alec John Such, former bassist of Bon Jovi, passed away. And on June 19th, Brett Toggle, former keyboardist of David Lee Roth, passed away. Next up is Music Festival Explorer. This is my website where I talk about metal festivals and music and things in that sphere. And this month I have written a blog post on what is the sweariest song. It is a fun, silly blog post about which song is the sweariest, as in the most sweary. I'm not sure either of those are real words. I did make a video about this years ago, but then it got age restricted, and it basically means that no one has ever seen it. So if you're interested in that, please do read it. There's a link in the description. And finally we have the fun stories from June, because who doesn't love fun things? First up, Twitter user D. Vonnie shared a clip of 3 little girls at the front of a metal gig, and the singer is giving them the microphone so they can sing along, and then they do the most incredible headbanging to the breakdown in the song. It's genuinely fantastic to watch. I've only included a screenshot here because it is a very short video and I'd rather you watch it on his profile rather than here. There is a link in the description, check it out. It's like little girls headbanging to metal music, it's awesome. Next up, Kiss are on their farewell tour, and they recently did their final ever gig in Austria. At the end of the gig they projected a message that said "Kiss loves you Vienna" along with a flag of Australia. What a fantastic way to end your final ever gig in that country. And finally, recently a soft rock radio station in Vancouver in Canada played Rage Against the Machine's classic Killing in the Name on repeat for about a day. So the radio station was playing Killing in the Name on repeat over and over and over, and occasionally the host would come on to take requests from people. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you're out there mate, can you play Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name?" And he would be like, "Oh, let me see if we got it in the back." And then they would play it again. But my favourite story of this is a woman who called up to complain and said, "I am sick of hearing that song over and over and over, I just want to hear something else." And the host said, "Alright then, what would you prefer to hear instead?" And she went, "I don't know, just anything other than..." And then they cut her off and they played Killing in the Name again. It's just really, really funny. That's it. I just think that's a fun story. which is literally the name of this section. Anyway, that's everything for me from this month. If you've listened to those albums from earlier, please do let me know in the comments what you thought of them. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Rob, and I will see you next month.